fellow Toastmasters. Wonderful to see you all. And guests, thanks for coming. Simplicity, clarity, confidence, solitude, peace, relaxation, superconscious, and centered. These are all words that I have really found to explain what it's like to really get some headspace. And what does that mean? Well, we consider headspace when we meditate. So I always used to scoff at meditation and kind of thought it was kind of like that like cross-legged, kind of dorky thing, right? But it has totally changed my life. And my goal today is to give you guys some easy steps to follow so you can make it a part of your daily routine, and to just kind of explain why it's so important, just to let the world be the world and just to be centered and really focused in on what you're doing. So step one would be to make it a part of your routine. Sounds easy enough, but honestly, we only have 24 hours in a day, and we spend, hopefully 8 hours of that sleeping, probably about 4 hours of that eating, hopefully, if you don't break down your day like that. And then the rest of it's at work, which you probably don't have time. So what I found very helpful is I put it in my actual handwritten planner and then in my mobile planner, so that I know it's in there every single day, and it only lasts 5 to 10 minutes. So it really doesn't take up a ton of your time, which is great because we all have really busy lives. So then step two is to find a quiet place that you feel comfortable enough to be with your eyes closed and breathing kind of funny. Some people don't really like doing that in their office. I personally have found that in my vehicle is a really good place for me. When I'm on lunch, I kind of just sit in there and relax, and then either in my bedroom, in my office, at work, anywhere really that you find that's comfortable. And I've also, some people say that you need to be sitting on the floor or on some sort of mat, but I sit wherever I am. And I try to feel really centered and really feel where I am at when I'm there. So I try to pick a good peaceful spot that I can really get some headspace at. So step three is to just gently close your eyes and just to breathe normally. And some people like to have a breathing pattern. I just like to feel where my breath is going. I don't force it, I just take note of where it is in my body. So sometimes it's really shallow, and I know those days I'm gonna have to work extra hard to keep those thoughts out of my head. And then step four is to concentrate on your breathing more. And then step five is to let thoughts be thoughts and to let feelings be feelings. So you guys are gonna think I'm really dorky, but when I do this, I picture little bubbles coming out everywhere, and if I start to have a feeling or a thought about the day, it becomes a black bubble, and it's really ugly. So instead of forcefully popping that bubble, I picture myself taking a little feather and just kind of popping it. So it's just, oh, that's a thought, like just let it go, let it float away. And it does sound really dorky, but by letting thoughts be thoughts and feelings be feelings, you don't dwell on them. And this is something that you can take outside of just when you're meditating. You can also do it throughout the day. So if you're on a specific task and you know that you need to get this task done, but something's nagging you from earlier in the day, or you're trying to think about dinner plans for dinner when you get home, you can stop yourself and be like, nope, that's a thought or that's a feeling, and just let it go. And it's not a forceful thing, and it takes a ton of practice in order to get to this point. But by having it a routine in your day, you can implement it and actually remind yourself throughout the day that, oh, I need to get back into the swing of things and get into my present time consciousness, which I've talked about before. So then step six is all you need is about 5 to 10 minutes in order to do this and to really feel the benefits of it. And so I set a timer just because I don't want to have to worry about how much time it's been. Squint and look at my phone to see how much time has gone by. I set a timer on my phone for 5 minutes and I just let it go. And what's really cool about finding some headspace is time is no longer a physical entity, it's kind of abstract. So 5 minutes can feel like 20 minutes and you feel like you've got a really good nap afterwards. So those are some easy steps that you can take in order to start meditating and keeping it in your daily routine. And by having some headspace, you can feel more centered with yourself. I've learned a ton about myself while meditating, and it's pretty incredible to really know yourself like that, I guess. and really be able to get things done, because I always thought I had a million things going on, but by being centered like that and finding my headspace, I was able to find the time for the tasks I needed to get done. Another thing I kind of want to bring up is the idea of your superconscious versus your subconscious. So have you all heard of your subconscious before? Yeah, exactly. It's kind of your moral backbone and functions your whole body without you even knowing it. So instead of calling it a subconscious, I've been trained to call it your superconscious, just because it's so far and above anything that we can control. It's always there. And by finding this headspace, you can actually tap into that a little bit more. So if you practice enough at it, you can actually kind of look at your consciousness a different way. And the voice inside your head stops nagging you for silly little things. Like I have a long commute. So when I'm driving, sometimes there will be people who cut you off. There'll be, people who don't use their blinker, which is a pet peeve of mine. But now that I've gotten this headspace and made it a routine, my superconscious I don't have to think about that anymore. I just drive home. I'm not anxious anymore. So by allowing yourself to get to that silent place that's in every one of us, even if you don't believe it, it is there in everyone. It just takes a little bit of practice to get there. So by following these easy steps, you can avoid becoming a sycophant and enjoy the rest of your life and day-to-day endeavors. So thank you very much.